So, Mr. Giuseppe, it's a great honor to speak with you. I hope we won't take you so much your free time. So, the first question, if it's okay, we can start. What inspired you to create Italicus, and how did you envision reviewing the aperitivo category?
Should I take it?
It's okay.
Italicus, it was an idea that I had in my drawer for a few years. I was thinking to launch something a little bit more unique into the markets. And while I was doing all my research about aperitif, vermouth and amaros, I was going to find this word Rosolio, Rosolio, Rosolio everywhere. And then I found out that it was the first ever liqueur or aperitif made in Italy back in the 16 or 1700. And then I was always a big fan of the bergamot citrus flavor because I'm from south of Italy. My mom, she used to do a nice dish for Christmas evening with the bergamot. And I said, what about I'm going to try to combine the two together? And then how it came about it, and I want to give it a name that it will represent the whole Italy together. So I always like to say that Italicus encapsulates the Italian art and poetry in liquid form.
Okay, thank you. As a former global brand ambassador for Martini, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced?
It's a completely different experience. However, I have to say that without 10 years working for Martini, I would never be able to do Italicus. It was so much new things, a lot of learnings, a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures. As a startup, it was very difficult at the beginning, but I have to say Italicus as a project went far beyond any expectation. The community of bartenders, the people, the professionals, the distributors, everybody's been very supportive with Italicus from day one. So I'm a huge fan. I'm really blessed to be part of this industry. I really hope that I can stay in this industry for many, many more years.
Can you explain your process for developing new cocktails, recipes, or ingredients?
I used to work as a bartender, but I'm not really good bartender. I was very average bartender. However, my approach to cocktail is always try to find some uniqueness in terms of flavor profile, but also try to find some simplicity in terms of ingredients. I don't like cocktails with 7 or 8 ingredients. I find them too complicated. Flavor profile is not coming out. I rather prefer to work with the cocktails a little bit more simple. I love the classics. I love to take inspiration from the classics and then work around there. Back in the days, we used to have what we were calling the twist on classics, which I was a big fan of. So I always like to start with a nice spirits base, wherever it's gin, whiskey or vodka, and then from there work in terms of flavor profile. Obviously, whatever is possible, I try to place a little bit of amaros, vermouth or aperitif.
What trends are you currently seeing in the cocktails and spirits industry that excite you?
Probably the most interesting one so far post-COVID is the sotol as a category. It's very unique. It's a great liquid. It's on the tail of the agave with the tequila and mezcal boom, mainly in the US. So I'm very pleased with that. Also, I have to say, aperitif, they're really expanding the whole occasion and category. Back in the days, you used to have, till 5 years ago, just few red bitters or some vermouth. Now, today, you really can see a new flavor profile coming also for aperitif and for amaros. So I think there is a big difference between what is the US market or what is the consumer in US and what is Europe, but the two, they can also work very well together.
Can you describe the process of sourcing the ingredients for Italicus?
I started with a very simple rule: no compromise on quality. As a former bartender, for me it was very, very important to be able to communicate the full recipe, every single ingredient we're using in Italicus. So the first thing I did, I went straight to south of Italy in Calabria region, and I went to the producers of bergamot citrus fruits, and I made a deal with them for 10 years of producing bergamot for us. And then from there, I went to the distillery in Turin, and from there we're sourcing dry botanicals, which is a little bit more common and a little bit more easy to find. But the bottom line is no compromise on quality. Quality first and no quantities.
How was your experience as a brand ambassador influenced your approach to developing your own products?
It was huge. Probably, I would say 90% of my experience as a global brand ambassador with Martini, that's what it took me to then launch my own brand with Italicus and now with Savoia. One of the most interesting part of my job with Martini, it was new product development. My first ever project, it was 3 months after I started with Martini in 2009, and I was really lucky to work. You know, Martini is a huge house, huge brand home, and I worked with the Dolce & Gabbana to the developing of Martini Gold by Dolce & Gabbana. So working with the 2 luxury brands to develop something new. What experience, just after 3 months with Martini. Then from there, we launched the Martini Gran Lusso for the limited edition for the 150th anniversary of Martini. Then from there, we launched the Martini Riserva Speciale, which is still available today. And then from there, I said, maybe it's a time to do my own brand.
What feedback have you received from consumers that has influenced your product development?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, of course. What feedback have you received from consumers that has influenced your product development?
To be honest and completely frank, I haven't done any consumer research beforehand. So the product was already available, it was already out in the market. And despite you want to be your devil advocates when you develop your liquid, like you never can think about everything. Always you're gonna miss something. And there is always something to learn. You need to receive positive and negative feedbacks and learn from both of them. You don't need to sit and relax yourself if they're positive. You don't need to put yourself down if they're negative. There is always something to learn. So far the feedback pretty good. I remember at the beginning everybody, it was feedback to us like, yeah, but it's too expensive, it's too expensive. Well, go and try to buy bergamot and you will see how much expensive is bergamot. Try to produce this kind of a bottle or a cup and making 100% a natural and vegan certified product, and you will see that it's not that easy to develop such a product. Those kind of qualities and those kind of intrinsics, they have a cost. And myself, I have been always like a big advocate for quality, as I said, and not quantity. So it was no compromise on the quality, and I took the feedback, implemented, and hopefully today we're in a much better position.
How was your partnership with Pernod Ricard shape the future of Italicus?
He almost saved us, because I remember to sign the distribution partnership with the Pernod Ricard 3 days before the COVID and the full lockdown in 2020. And Italicus has been always very much on-trade focused brand, so we had 90% of our business and sales on-trade, and all of a sudden the on-trade around the world was closed. But thanks to the partnership with the Pernod Ricard, we've been able to sustain and get over the COVID period. We actually grew during the COVID thanks to Pernod, very small, like 8-9%, and then when everything reopened, we bounced back and we had a massive growth with Pernod Ricard, the route to markets and penetration in different countries.
And the last question, what are some of your favorite cocktails that features Italicus and why?
By far, my number one is the Mescalicus. Mescalicus, which I give a credit to Jack McGarry from the Dead Rabbit. I was sitting at the Dead Rabbit in New York in the evening around 2017, and he made me this cocktail, which is a half and a half mezcal and Italicus, just a little bit of lime juice, and then served on the rocks. Is absolutely perfect. We have the smokiness of the mezcal, the citrus fruits coming from the bergamot. Absolutely my favorite by far. Of course, you can also enjoy Italicus in a spritz, in a Negroni Bianco. Also in the US, they're drinking a margarita now. They're doing kind of bergamot Italian margarita with Italicus to give a little bit of a spill off. But if you're asking myself, the Mescalicus by far my number one.